Caesar,
John, how are you?
better than good. How are you?
Good.
Ah. So, I was watching the I thought, tracing the I thought again. And there's always a duality when it's being traced in the mind, in the head. Like something's looking for something, So,
That make the I tracing itself.
Hmm?
The I tracing itself
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
the
well,
makes the I to disappear. Yeah.
but
But it's tracing itself.
the,
It's not tracing something else.
yeah, well,
It
in
is
the
it is
yeah.
self-observation. It's not observation of something else. It's the I observing itself.
Okay, that makes sense because it can be quite confusing because the mind is used to objects. So there was no object in this, and it was very mysterious, you could call it,
In the
you know?
inquiry, there is only the subject. And the subject paying attention to itself makes it to disappear.
But it does give a sense of duality, does it?
Duality will be if the subject is looking to an object.
Yeah, I don't know. But what
But
happened was, yeah.
if the subject is looking to itself, that is the mind. There is no doubt about it. The inquiry is done by the mind. But
Yeah.
the inquiry about the mind, by the mind, make the mind to dissolve in its source. Because if the subject is not paying attention to any object, then it cannot stand because it can only stand in association with an object.
Hmm. Well, what happened was, okay, before I'd often be going to sleep and I'd be fully aware and fully relaxed and the head would explode. But that would happen sort of by itself. But this time I was doing direct inquiry, a conscious effort, you could say.
Mm.
And there was an explosion and white light again.
No, that's a mind.
And,
Because
well,
there is an explosion
yeah,
and there is white light, but there is an observer of that or experiencer.
yeah, it was very quick. So
Now,
this is always happening. I don't know why.
now, this is something that it is rarely experienced, which is it can happen either before waking up or on before falling asleep. When I mean sleep, is you are lucky to put the head in the pillow and go straight to deep sleep. Okay? Which is
But I was awake, just lying down,
the thing is that in deep sleep there is total darkness because the light that radiates from the self, that emanates from the self, that passes through some channels, let's call them psychic channels, and they reach the brain, which produces body consciousness, right?
Mm.
That light is off, so to speak, in deep sleep, and it switches on. And there is a moment that it is possible to see that the brightest light ever, Okay, but still is light, and still there is awareness of that light.
Mhm.
So the reality is the awareness.
Yeah, yeah.
So it doesn't matter
But
how
this wouldn't happen when I'm asleep. Like I'd be lying down.
it,
I'd be awake. Like.
it doesn't matter how extraordinary the experience may present itself.
Hmm.
We have to
But
go,
it doesn't. Yeah, beyond.
we have to go back to the question, who is experiencing it? In that
I
way,
can't.
the mind does not get involved or get even curious or interested about it.
No,
So the
it's
mind,
impossible. Like.
so the mind let go any phenomenon. If the mind lets go any phenomenon, the mind being a phenomenon itself will subside in consciousness. Meaning by that again, the I am the body idea will disappear. And the I am consciousness will be clearly experienced as I, right? It will be recognized, realized as one's own self.
So after that, it was like I was in the eye of a storm. You
The,
know, it was like
the mind,
it was like there was complete calm, and there was thoughts. Any slight thought was an absolute distraction. Like, well, it wasn't a distraction, but it was like it wasn't wanted. It was like the opposite of inquiry. It was very
no,
strange.
no. Sometimes the inquiry does not interrupt the chain of thoughts. It doesn't break it.
Mm.
What is the problem? None. Leave them alone and keep the attention on the seer and ignore the thoughts. The inquiry itself may produce that effect, which is the release of hidden tendencies, dormant
Is
tendencies
it,
that we might.
is this what it is, Caesar? Is that what it is? Release of tendencies or something?
That is why I'm telling you this. So all these tendencies, hidden tendencies, unknown tendencies, tendencies that we were not even aware that it existed, they will come to the surface. They will manifest itself. They will go from its unmanifested potential latent state and they will get manifested. If the inquiry is taking place, means if you do nothing about it, thinking about it, analyzing it, talking about it, nothing, then they will dissolve into consciousness. Consciousness is going to dissolve it. See, the trap when the people do the inquiry is that they want to get rid of thoughts. And that is not the point. The inquiry says, when the thought arises, ignore it and bring the attention to the seer. That's all. It's not saying destroy it, no. Because it is written and it has been translated, and perhaps Ramana himself said so, that we must get rid of unwanted thoughts. So the inquiry is misunderstood. I am not interested in thoughts or feelings or emotions or bodily sensations or energy levels of whatever or sensory perception. I'm interested in paying attention to the one that claims to be the experiencer of all that. This I that proclaimed to be the knower, see, the conscious self, whatever. This I that presents itself, appears itself in the body as the seer, the knower, experiencer, the awarer, or whatever you like to call it. So the mind again doesn't get involved, doesn't get associated, right?
Mhm.
It appears to be a witness, right? But this witness is false witness. This consciousness is false consciousness. The one that is conscious of that is false consciousness, reflected consciousness, relative consciousness, call it whatever you like.
So that explosion, it was quite physical in the head, and it was that flash of light. It was like a bulb breaking.
It doesn't
But
matter
like
if
what?
it doesn't matter if it is
Well,
light, something else.
no, well, it was so quick. I'd nothing to do. I couldn't do nothing. It was just a split second thing. But is that mind still all this stuff?
The mind is making it something relevant because
No, I'm just wondering. Am I doing something wrong, should I
no,
inquire differently?
what
Or
you're doing is just thinking about it, analyzing it, trying to know why and all that stuff. See, the mind got associated with experience, with the object of experience, which is the light and the explosion, and then the mind now is, see, dwelling
yeah,
on
yeah.
this
Well,
object.
I'm not dwelling too much. I'm just checking with you where um
The fact that you're
where
checking,
I.
the fact that you're checking with me, it means that it has been given some kind of relevance to it. Because why not to speak
Yeah,
about the sandwich that you have for breakfast, or I don't know, the light in the kitchen, right? And
yeah.
why this light has some kind of a specialness that I need to check this out with Caesar. I'll give an example, okay? Once we were in satsang with Mr. Ratanlal, and satsang took place that day in the lecture hall, in a lecture hall. And then somebody said, an Indian man, by the way, said, this morning I was in meditation and I saw a bright light. Mr. Ratanlal, laughing, answered the question, and who saw the light? Right? Like, and then Mr. Ratanlal just, and the man didn't know what to do with that, right?
Mm.
And there was no feedback from this man. And if there is no feedback, there is no more acknowledgement, see, to any feedback. There is no feedback, see, what can you acknowledge, right? So, who is the seer of the light? Who saw the light? Because consciousness certainly is the absolute knower of phenomenon, right? But consciousness and phenomenon are inseparable. Phenomenon being inseparable from consciousness. Phenomenon is also consciousness. Consciousness
Mm.
being the only thing that exists, right? And then we get to the ultimate question, then who is conscious of or aware of that? Who is the witness of that? So all this that you're talking about or people talk about is just mind stuff.
Well, I asked another guru. He had a light experience, and I said, "How do you remember that light experience?" And
That,
he says, "It is what I am. It's what I am."
huh?
He said, "Well," he said, "it's what I am."
The light. No, if the light is seen, how can you be what you see? You are what sees. What is the light in deep sleep?
Well, yeah. But like it was like he was coming from that place of self. That's what I
Who,
thought.
who?
It doesn't matter. I won't drop names
Are,
for no
are you
trouble.
talk, are you talking about the conversation between Mr. Ratan Lal and this Indian man?
No, the guru I asked. Yeah.
The self is beyond light and darkness. If it is
Mm.
seen, it cannot be the
It-
seer. If it is known,
well,
it cannot be the
well,
knower. right?
Well as that, he said he saw the light. He was all light once, and he was going around telling people he was light, and then it was like, oh, I'm not even the light either. So I must have got something mixed up somewhere along the line, So I don't know.
People speak
It's
about
a trip.
the light of the self because without light you cannot see. That means that without consciousness, thus nothing can be. But people take it literally and believe or interpret that light is consciousness, or the consciousness is light, therefore I am the light, right? For example, a famous uh, sage, okay, from this Islamic branch, the Sufis, Guru Nanak, okay, he said, I am coming from the light. First, he said that. Then he said, the light is within me. And then he said, I am the light. This is Zoroastrianism, okay? And the symbol of Zoroastrianism is fire, light. But he was not talking about light, literally light, right? Without light, you cannot see, right? So without consciousness, nothing can be known, right? So I am coming from the light. This represents the dualistic school, which accept the existence of a light, meaning by light the source, right? The intelligent principle, God, whatever you like to call it. But then he said, the light is within me. Being within me, I am closer to the light, but still there is duality. And this is called the relative non-duality school. But then he said, I am the light. If I am the light, then I alone am. So this is the school of absolute non-duality. But again, he was not talking about literal light. See, that something that can be seen. Because if consciousness is light, and if the only thing that exists in deep sleep is consciousness, what is the experience of light in deep sleep? If nothing else is there but consciousness, and consciousness is light, it should know itself as light in deep sleep, but it doesn't, right? Because
No,
the experience is
no.
different. Is the
Hmm?
opposite. In deep sleep, there is
What?
total darkness, total
Yeah.
ignorance, because the mind is completely merged in the self. Means it's absent. And on the contrary, there is no light but darkness. So that darkness is no brain functioning because the light of awareness hasn't arrived to bring body consciousness back. When that light reaches the brain, okay, then the ego appears in its more subtle form. It's a very subtle thought. It's like a sense of being. It's not a thought, it's a feeling. Okay, I like to differentiate self-awareness with awareness of being the self. Okay? This is a very subtle knowledge of being, but it is already reflected consciousness. See, this light passes through the so-called nadis, or
Mm.
psychic channels, and reaches the brain. Okay? And then this is the one that is waking up, right? In the morning. But then this subtle knowledge of being, when appears in the body, it becomes the thought, I am the body, right?
Mm.
This is what people
It,
call consciousness, right?
yeah, it has to. I mean, there's no way of grasping it, is there? It's impossible to grasp it. Yeah.
What do you mean to grasp it? I'm explaining it because was grasped it is.
No, yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm just thinking of it. Yeah.
That is, we get to know all that when the ego is gone. Ramana Maharshi said that if you lose body consciousness, what remains is light. But that light is the reflected light, is emanation, it still is an emanation manifestation of consciousness. Perhaps no, it's the first one. So this, who is waking up? When you wake up in the morning, before somebody's waking you up. Okay, John. First, the eye wakes up, but still you may not even know what's going on because you can see nothing, because you may not even be conscious of the body yet. Yet, through the senses, because the eye is present, there is sensory perception, right? Then when you wake up, who wakes up? I. See? So this is why the mind is called the reflected light of consciousness. It reflects itself in the brain, right? So this is why it is also said that the seat of the mind is the brain, while the seat of consciousness is the heart. So this light comes from the heart, meaning by the heart, the self, and then passes through some channels in the body, it reaches the brain. Okay? It's when you switch on a computer, okay? Some computer, I don't know now. You switch on the computer, at first there is a sound, right? But nothing shows up on the screen yet, and then something on the screen appears. So this tuklong is this, okay, very subtle feeling of I, right? Let's call it feeling because it feels like I, right? Or it's a very subtle knowledge of being, which still is not a thought, right? It is a thought, but very subtle. And then who is waking up? I. But I don't know what this I is yet because it doesn't know itself as the body yet. And then, I. I who woke up is I, Caesar. See, automatically there is, in most of the cases, this happens like this. Ah, and our body consciousness kicks in straight away. So this is a mental state that should be held, right? By the means of inquiry, so we can realize that consciousness is beyond that and that we are that consciousness. As we spoke last time about this written material from David Gottman, he said that the inquiry at the beginning takes the form of a thought, right? That's the I thought. But then the I thought begins to dissolve and it becomes more subtle. And he called it like an I feeling, right? It turns into a feeling. And then he said the feeling disappears. It's not that literally disappears, means that consciousness reveals itself, right? So when consciousness reveals itself and one realizes that when one is that consciousness, nothing is experienced as separate. So you cannot call anything mind, world, intellect, nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So these explosion things happen even when I'm going to sleep. But I just ignore them. Well, I can't do anything about them anyway. I mean,
Well,
they're part of they're part of the.
what is the big deal about the explosion that you can't stop
Well,
talking?
well, the thing is, Caesar, do you know what it is? I think I
I
don't
don't
want to
know.
be
It's an
doing. I
illusion.
don't want to.
You tell me,
Yeah, I don't want to be doing.
you tell me, you know what it is. And I say, it is illusion. It's an illusion. It's a light that
So just
is the light that illumines the illusion, right? It's the light that illumines the slides so the projection can appear. The slides are the tendencies, right? If there is no light, there is no projection, right? The tendencies
No,
are there. But without light, no tendency can come to play or come into play. How shall I say, come to play or come into play?
come into play, yeah, yeah. I suppose what the question is there progress being made?
What?
Is there progress being made or not? That's what I'm kind of getting to.
And whose progress will it be?
Yeah, yeah.
You are the self. If you are the self, see, from the self point of view, there is no, how can we think about progress? So the mind is like asking, am I progressing? Is there any progress? Right? Certainly, yes, in the sense that phenomena are more subtle, right? But the progress actually means it can be measured in the capacity of oneself to ignore phenomena. it, it doesn't matter how wonderful they may appear, light, colors, angels, gods, heaven, hell, it doesn't matter. See? Progress means the capacity to ignore phenomena, right? The one that is still is ignoring phenomenon is a phenomenon. Because obviously it is me, right? The subject that is speaking about an object called light, explosion, this and the other, right? That is mind, subject and object, seer and seen.
There were some things in some texts I read that to trace the I thought back to the heart.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I don't do that. I'd be kind of concentrating on looking for the I thought,
That is the
watching
way.
the I thought.
Because you believe you are the I thought, or because one believed to be the I thought. But what we actually are is consciousness. If I'm looking to myself, right? The attention goes to oneself. When the attention goes to oneself, the idea of being the mind disappears and the knowledge of being the self remains. But looking to the I thought means that, right? Because it's like keeping the attention on the seer is an invocation, so to speak. Okay, it's an invocation for consciousness to reveal it. Lord, Lord, Jesus. Ven.
Hmm?
No, vecino, chico, de ellos. Come. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So again and again and again, even if you listen to the people that are qualified, I would say, to speak about Ramana's teachings, okay, so who are the responsible and authorized even for the ashram to translate, okay, like formal translators of Ramana's teachings, right? And particularly Michael James, who knew Sadhu Om, because I don't know if David Gorman, I think David Gorman knew only, I don't know, I'm not sure. But for sure, somebody told, for you know, because somebody told me that I can say that he met Lakshmana Swami that went to the ashram once and he sat beside him and he had an experience of whatever, absolute silence and so on. But when you read David Gottman, okay, and Michael James, that for me they are trustable sources of knowledge, right?
Okay.
They spoke about putting the attention they spoke about the mind paying attention to itself. So the word self in self-inquiry is not this, it's not the self, the absolute self.
Yeah.
Ramana Maharshi said, hold on to the third eye. The third eye will be like a thorn that will remove the other thoughts, the other thorns. And then when this thorn made accomplish its purpose, which is remove the other thoughts, then it gets discarded, right? It's not needed anymore. That means if the attention goes to the third eye, by default, not because you want to get rid of thoughts, right? So the intention is not to get rid of thoughts. You put the attention on the third eye, and as a byproduct, the thought disappears. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but because attention is in the third eye, you ignore all the thoughts until they go by themselves. Hmm?
Hmm.
Okay? So this is a thorn, the third eye. That is the meaning of the analogy, right? You put attention
Hmm.
on the third eye, all the thoughts are removed. The third eye did its purpose and it has nothing, there's no reason to stay there, right? And it is dropped or drop itself. Or better to say, it's going to be absorbed by consciousness. There's some sort of power will reveal, manifest itself and will absorb it. So
Okay.
the antibody idea will be absorbed by the power of the self, leaving the self alone as it is, and making clear that we can be no other than self, because the other one that we appear to be disappeared. It was absorbed by the self. Even Nisargadatta Maharaj said that. He said, hold on to the I am, not to the awareness. He never spoke to hold on to the absolute. Right? It was translated. I don't know if Nisargadatta said that. This created a lot of confusion, right?
Mm.
Because he referred to the mind as consciousness. So the I thought that Ramana spoke about it is the I am that Nisargadatta was speaking about. And he said, hold on to the I am, see? And it will disappear. Because then we're going to have two self. One small self, just to call it that way, that is going to see the other self, the big self. Cannot,
Yeah. Yeah.
cannot be, right?
No.
So if that will be the case, you have to accept that there are two self. In the inquiry is, who is this self, right? That says that it is ignorant and it wants to become enlightened, right? That it wants to see the self. Nothing can see the self. No one can see the self. The self reveals itself by itself, not by someone's effort, right? To itself.
Okay.
Mm.
Thanks.
Mm.
Yeah.
That- Mr. Ratanal used to say that realization happens when effort meets grace, right? Effort means it's a contradiction because effort is actually the cessation of effort. See, when the mind is quiet, totally quiet means when the I thought is alone there. See, when there are no other thoughts, only the I thought, and then it meets grace. See, grace comes and swallows it. See? Grace is another name for consciousness. See, the power of consciousness will absorb the residual of the mind. even though in most cases the ego will bounce back. In most cases, it bounces, it may not happen, right? That's very rare. Even Ramana Maharshi said so, that after a glimpse of one's reality, one can easily fall back into ignorance because the tendencies are not fully destroyed, and the tendencies will bring back again the ego.
That's what it seems like, Caesar. That's what it seems like here. Yeah, yeah,
No
yeah,
problem. What is the problem?
yeah, yeah. It's good. I
But
don't want to get disillusioned
yes,
or
no, there is fear, right? That, oh my God, do I have enough time? If this actually going to happen before I die, I will realize the self in this chapter. You are the self. There is no question about realization in reality. There is no
Mm,
realization of the self. There is realization of the non-existence of this other self. Right? It's realization of the non-self, that it doesn't exist.
mm.
The self is already self-realized.
Yeah, yeah,
In
yeah,
fact, everybody knows I am, but
yeah.
nobody knows what they actually are. Everybody knows that they are, but few knows what they actually are. Most of them, they know that they are, but they believe that they are the body.
Well, that's so stupid because even here I'm thinking there's body identification, right? Okay. Yet I'm hunting the eye. So that's obvious I'm not the body. Jeez, it's just stupid.
Yeah, but this is intellectual.
Huh?
Intellectual.
Yeah. Well, logically, like, yeah. I'm a logical person, you know.
Yeah, but
That's probably my trouble.
yes, yes.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
But you should see that this is only intellectual. So you can move on from the intellectual knowledge to direct knowledge.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this doesn't become a spiritual chit chat. So it can have a practical
Oh,
purpose, practical means, right?
okay.
Otherwise, no, yes, it's obvious, and the other one say, oh yeah, no, yeah, yeah. This is
Yeah.
just overuse, a misuse and overuse of the intellect. It's calling. I was told that it is called intellectualization. It's like overuse, misuse of the intellect. Right?
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. So every time you see the light, then who cares?
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Ana,
Oh, ahora te veo. Ay, buenas noches. Aquí son buenas noches, son las 2 de la madrugada. Y no sé, quiero que me ayude no sé,
a indagar.
quiero sanar la emoción esa de, espérate, que no se escucha bien, que lo tengo bajo. Y ahora ya se escucha, ¿no?
Sí,
Que antes no se escuchaba. Buenas noches, aquí son muy buenas noches, son las 2 de la madrugada. Y nada, verás, es que me ha surgido esta noche la emoción a raíz de un hecho, ¿no? La emoción que llevo siempre mm, de abandono, ¿no? Y no acabo de deshacerme de ella. Y está haciendo la indagación y no sé, a lo mejor no lo hago correctamente por el sentido de que estoy haciendo, uso la autoindagación para deshacerme de una emoción que ha
correcto,
estado conmigo toda la vida, ¿no? Y
correcto.
no es que es muy doloroso, quiero deshacerme de ella y no sé cómo iba a hacerlo. Alguno dice, abraza la emoción, no sé qué, y estoy haciendo la autoindagación y no he visto claridad, ¿no? Porque es que había quedado mañana con unos amigos y se ve que marea un plantonazo, ¿no? Porque son, no sé, le surgió otra cosa y a mí eso ¡pum! Es como un crack, ¿no? Eh, conecto con la herida de abandono, ¿no? Eso me ha hecho crack
Hay
y
un,
no sé, ¿eh?
el error que la mayoría de la gente comete cuando indaga es indagar para tratar de deshacerse o del pensamiento, o del sentimiento, o de la emoción, o de la conciencia de cuerpo, o de la percepción. La indagación dice, ¿de dónde surgen los pensamientos? De mí. ¿De mí quién? ¿Quién soy yo? La indagación me está diciendo que ponga la atención en el yo, no que me deshaga de nada.
Es que no veo claridad, lo estaba haciendo.
Porque quieres ver claridad, quieres que algo suceda y la indagación no funciona si tienes una expectativa o estás esperando algo a cambio de la indagación. Es decir, lo estás haciendo con la mente impura, activa, y la mente activa hace lo que hace esperando un resultado de la acción. La mente pura hace lo que hace sin esperar ningún resultado de la acción.
Entonces, ¿cómo sanamos? ¿Cómo sonamos?
Porque tú quieres sanar, ¿no? Sí, ¿existe alguien realmente que tenga que sanar a alguien? La herida es tan ilusoria como el que la tiene,
Ujú.
porque las dos son pensamientos. Yo es un pensamiento. ¿Sí? Ya, me siento herida, ¿sí? Una entidad ilusoria que siente una emoción ilusoria. Una entidad ilusoria, una construcción mental basada en identificación con el cuerpo. Y si a mí no me invitan a la fiesta y ellos están disfrutando, ¿por qué si ellos están disfrutando yo debería estar sufriendo?
Es como si el personaje, mm, parece que todo me ocurre a mí en el sentido de
Si no
Pero
puedes
claro,
llevar,
es una...
si no puedes llevar la atención a ti misma, entonces, como hablamos hoy en la tarde, llévala a la respiración, de manera que la atención no está en la emoción, ¿ok? Producida por tu propio pensamiento, sino en en la respiración. Así no le pones atención al sentimiento, a la emoción, al pensamiento que lo causa, a las sensaciones, a otras sensaciones físicas, a los objetos ¿sí? que percibes a través de los sentidos. Y eso hace que la mente se purifique, es decir, pierda esa inclinación o tendencia de siempre irse hacia afuera y pensar en algo o en alguien de manera positiva o negativa, o de pensar acerca de sí misma de forma positiva o negativa. ¿Sí?
Pero entonces la idea es ignorar la emoción,
La idea es ignorarlo todo, de manera
ignorarlo todo.
de manera que la atención, al ignorarlo todo, la atención automáticamente regresa al yo. Si la atención queda fija en el yo, al yo no ponerle atención a otra cosa, ¿ok? Ya que solamente puede mantenerse en pie si le pone atención a otra cosa, entonces se sumerge en su fuente o es absorbida por la fuente, la conciencia. El poder de la conciencia se revela y absorbe al yo, al menos temporalmente.
Me ha entrado como ganas de risa, de reír.
Muy bien.
Eso que no. ¿Eh?
Ya, no lo analices. ¿Para qué? Porque tienes que analizar, esa es otra tendencia, analizarlo todo, tratar de entender por... Ahora me río, soy feliz sin razón aparente, déjame ver por qué. ¿Sí? La mente siempre le está buscando la quinta pata al gato, y no es una quinta pata, es la cola, es el gato.
No está analizando, ¿no?
¿Para qué? ¿Qué cansón?
Qué cansón, ¿verdad? Como me he sentido más ligera, pero no tengo que analizarlo, ¿no?
Y por otra
Lo que tú
parte,
dices.
estoy tan acostumbrado a sentirme mal y que me siento bien y digo, qué raro, me siento bien y no sé por qué. ¿Por qué será?
Es que, es que es verdad. Estoy todo el día sintiéndome. Que una vez que me siento bien, digo, uy, tú no has visto el anuncio, uy, qué rara, me siento feliz. Ay, señor.
Y los que no te invitaron a la fiesta o los que dicen, bueno, como dicen ustedes los españoles, a tomar por el saco.
No, no era una fiesta, era
A lo que sea,
unos vecinos.
ya déjalo, olvídalo ahora ya. Guillermo, ¿dónde está Guillermo?
Es que me ha desinhibido,
Qué maravilla.
pero no, pero no lo
Digo,
analizo, ¿no?
no, déjalo así, no le metas, a lo que le metas el intelecto lo vas a echar a perder todo.
Ay, Ya, ya lo digo. No, no. Ay, sí, yo te decía. Bueno, al final ha desaparecido.
Ok.
No sé cómo lo has hecho, pero ha desaparecido. ¿Qué? ¿Tú has usado una malla potalla y ha desaparecido? Oh, madre mía. Bueno, gracias, Cefa, de nuevo.
A la orden.
Oh,
Did that work?
It's working now.
Okay, cool. Hi, Caesar.
I didn't count. Hey.
Can you hear me?
Damas y caballeros, mucha atención a esta información.
What is that noise?
Hello, Caesar. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Hey,
You can hear us? Hi.
yeah,
How are you?
fine. I just by mistake press the button that blocks the audio. So I'm good.
Good.
You guys?
Yeah, good. So I just had a quick question. Is any question quick? But I traveled for work last week, and dynamics can be really interesting when you travel with people that you work with, but also people you've never met before. And there was a lot of energy and interactions and things, and lots of judgment to each other and things like that. And I was at dinner with a few of the ladies, and one of the ladies goes, I hate Americans. And I looked at her, I go, well, we're not all our government. And she goes, oh, are you American? Because people think I'm Canadian. And I said, yeah. But I realized I didn't get defensive or anything. I just felt like the comment just went like to the side of me. And then she just got all flustered. She's like, oh, well, I mean, not you, but I don't like all the other Americans. And I'm like, well,
Only
why?
I like only you, but not American.
And then I said, have you ever been to America? Because, we're not all the people on TV. And she's like, yeah, and I loved it. I had the best time. I'm like, so you loved being there and people were nice to you, but you don't like the people. So I thought that was quite confusing. But it made me realize that like our little judgments that we create in our mind can be quite entertaining when you don't take offense to them.
Well, the thing is that the reaction obviously is based on identity as American, right?
Mm.
Because if you were Chinese, maybe you would have like whatever, who cares? Let's work because we need to make money
That's right.
because these people like money.
100%.
Right?
That's actually very true.
That's not a judgment, that's a description of a fact. Good or
Well, it
bad,
is.
good or bad, I don't know. Can you see the difference? Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I've worked with plenty of people from here, and they know it's a fact. They're like, there's no emotion, let's just make money. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Just business.
that's fine. Yeah, it's just exactly. But
Nothing,
I just
nothing personal. It is just business.
no,
So
that's right.
the first identity is with one's body.
Mm.
Hold on, because the cat is calling everybody to go to bed a little bit earlier.
I heard the cat earlier too.
Yeah, just now. Yeah. ¿Qué quiere? ¿Dormir? No, no. What happened is that Nasia went to Moscow to get a visa, and then he misses her.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, he's like looking around, and he doesn't see her. It's only me and Hendrik. So
How long is she gone for?
I have no idea. Let's see. It all depends upon how long does it take to until you apply, until the visa comes through and all that. So you may have to apply for a new passport.
For Venezuela.
But yeah, because she's gonna apply for transit visa, a family transit visa, and then it's 1 year. You can renew it in the country for another 2 years, means that's going to be a period of 3 years. And then after that, she can apply for residence permit.
Oh, that's good.
So the passport has like 1 year validity. So we don't know what is going to happen in here, Russian embassy to get the new passport,
Gosh.
blah, blah, blah. So let's see. Everything's
Yep.
going to be the way it's supposed to be.
Yep.
Mhm.
So the first identity is body identity. It more or less works like that. Anybody can, I guess, can agree with that or be familiarized with it. First identity is this body, right? So I am Caesar, right? That's my name. But I have two surnames, right? Teruel, Machado. So I begin to identify myself with another bodies, right? That are my family, right? So
Yes.
I am Teruel Machado. See, these are the Teruels and these are the Machados. See, I am all this, see? My family, right?
Mhm.
And then you identify yourself with the land. I am Venezuelan, right? And of course, before I am the body, then a gender. I am a man,
Mhm.
I am a woman, I am confused, whatever it is, right? So then I don't know, religion kicks in, right?
Mm.
I am Christian or Muslim or whatever, right? Buddhist or whatever. Then you go to law school and you get your title, right? And I am a lawyer, right? And then you join sports and you become good at that. You say, I am a champion, right? Oh, you are so beautiful. You go to this Miss something, and I am Miss Universe. I am the most beautiful woman in the universe, right? For 1 year. Because the next year it will be someone else.
Just quite going.
So, so all these are self-images about myself based on the first image, right? Or these are thoughts about myself based on the root thought I, right? Or I am the body, right? In the same way, we project that onto the others, right?
Mm.
So and so, and he's Chinese, and he is this, that, or the other, right? So normally I was depends, what image they choose. The ego decided to defend at a particular given time, right? Or to prize. huh? So that is what happens, right? So oh God, what was that all about, right? So if you see that in you, even if it arises and takes over, it doesn't matter. Now, if you see it arising, okay, well, you save yourself and the others the comment and all the feeling and the emotion and all that stuff.
Mm. I just feel like sometimes people speak before they think. Like the first,
No,
like it just goes bloop.
no, they're
Yeah.
speaking about, they are just speaking the thoughts out.
Oh, they're saying that. Yeah, that probably is a better way to put it. But they're not like acknowledging what those thoughts are as they come out. It's like the typewriter, and you're reading as someone's typing.
Yeah, some people speak from the north gate and some people speak from the south gate. So it depends upon.
What do you mean by that? What's that analogy?
That
I understand what you mean.
yeah,
That way,
she will explain you later though.
the other end.
Right.
Took me a second.
That was
I
quick.
get it.
There is a little bit slow. So the idea is to see all that is within all of us in one way or another, in one form or the other, right? And these are the preconceived ideas, see the likes and dislikes and prejudices and concepts and beliefs, and all these are imprints, see the tendencies.
Much, because you know what was interesting is, and I understood what she meant after this other thing happened to me. This woman started to speak that I never met before, and she was lovely, but her accent reminded me of someone I had conflict with in a different company. And like I automatically went into like the judgment, and I was like, oh, I better be protective of myself against her, because what if she's like that person, you know? It was it was very, very interesting. So like
not one, but like
yeah.
it's reinforced protection. Right?
Yes. But I acknowledged my judgment because I'm like, ooh, I'm getting really like, and I never went there. Like I was still quite open and receptive, but I noticed how I was judging like this other woman was judging.
Yes.
And it was just like an automatic tendency because, you know, when you travel and you're overseas and you're exhausted, your tendencies seem to like just come really quick because you don't have that like that capacity to go, okay, we're seeing this. You're like, I'm tired and exhausted. So it just comes.
That person, again, this person is exactly what you needed for you to
Yes.
see what was in that moment dormant, right? In a latent potential state, unmanifested, and then woke up, got manifested, right? It appeared.
Mhm.
And then the mind takes that form now, right?
It's quite cool because I said that to someone. We had this like inspirational speaker come, you know. I was like, okay, you roll with it. And I actually spoke about tendencies because he was like, okay, what can we do different in the company and how can we react better and blah blah blah. And I said, well, I don't know how I said it, but I spoke about the tendencies, but people didn't really understand like what the tendencies were. And I tried to explain it as best I could, but you know when you're so in your own world, but you don't have awareness of this part of life, it's actually quite challenging. Like, oh, you're a bit strange. They already think I'm a bit strange.
You were challenged.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, very much.
And
Oh,
then,
very much.
and then you accepted the challenge.
Okay. Oh, but it was so good to see because I actually like all these because I don't drink alcohol, so we all went out to dinner and I ordered a cup of sencha green tea. I drink tea, and everyone else was drinking alcohol. And the lady across from me, she goes, "You're a weirdo. Like, why are you drinking tea?" And I said, "Well, because it's my body, so I'll put in it what I want, and I don't have to fit in just to drink alcohol." Just to appease everyone else. So yeah, it was. But I noticed like the comments weren't touching me.
It's very subtle, right? You don't notice it.
Yeah.
But why are you drinking tea? Who cares? I mean, I'm drinking tea. I like it.
Yeah.
Enjoy your beer and enjoy my tea. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just liquid.
Yes. That is a pure mind talking.
Mm.
And I again an identity with that pure mind. The mind take the form of this. The mind has these three characteristics and take these forms: activity, dull, and pure. So I
Mm.
it means either one or the other, right? I have to do this to get that, right?
Yeah.
I will do this just whatever, right? Or I will go to sleep, I am tired. So the mind takes, so the identity with any of it equals ego.
Mm. Oh, definitely. So yeah, it was a fascinating experience because I had to put into practice everything we do here and not be
Well,
taken down by any of it.
if we get into this knowledge, it begins to become more and more evident that this life is just a workshop.
Definitely.
It's a workshop. You are here to get rid of the ego.
Mm.
And to get rid of the ego, all that stuff has to surface, right? So the ego has to be fairly pure. So it can be swallowed by the power of the self.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you can see the reaction, then the reaction will disappear and an action will take place. So in this sense, let's differentiate reaction from action. Reaction is conditioned. Action is
Mm-hmm.
spontaneous, right? And then the way you will approach to that situation, that person or whatever, okay, will, even if you still have the residual of the feeling produced by the ego, but you are capable to keep the attention on yourself. The mind is already, it is there, but it's not identifying itself with that. So you will overpass that, overcome that, see? And the way you approach to it will be completely different, see? Untouched and unconditioned by any of it. I can't tell you what are you going to say because you don't even know what are you going to say in the moment because it's going to be spontaneous. The other one is not spontaneous, it's preconditioned, right? It is preconceived. The moment comes that you don't even recognize yourself, you don't know what are you doing, what are you saying or thinking, if you feel that you're actually doing, thinking, or saying anything, right? You wait, see. And the action that comes from that space, so to speak, will not leave any imprint.
Mm-hmm.
No residuals. It will not become a tendency, right? A habitual way of approaching to circumstances, right? Like you are already trained. If this happen, I know what I'm going to say. I know what I'm going to do. I don't want to react because I am prepared, right?
Mm-hmm.
I studied. I was educated. My family taught me how to. The gurus taught me how to behave. And in these circumstances, you do this and this. When that happens, you say, when that happens, you're going to do this, right? When you go to school, if this happens, you're going to do that, and whatever. See, we are already programmed, right?
Yes.
There will be some, even if there's realization, there will be conditioning from however you've lived in the past, but it won't, I guess, trigger any ego.
There is a
Is that right?
Yeah, there is a conditioning that it is, let's say, practical, even if it is cultural, but you don't identify yourself with it. For example, see, I always give the example of the way I dress, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sandals I buy, see, the surfer sandals because whatever, the island and the Bermudas, t-shirts and the sweater with, right? I dress like this because I grew up like that, right?
Right. Yeah.
And certain
So it's not an ego
certain
practice.
yeah, certain brands.
A label.
I will never buy a jean that is not Levi's, for example, right? but not because
Right.
of the brand, because it will last forever. Right?
Yes.
Sure.
And you know how they fit.
Yeah, my grandchildren will inherit them, right? So, but in the past, there will be an identity with it, right?
Right.
Because it
So
is,
I buy Levi's because
because it is fashionable, or because it's this and all that stuff. And right, I grew up in that environment, right? This
right.
certain culture, whatever. Okay, because it's a social status and the image also that you have to present yourself, because you come and see you are so and so. How can you represent the family? And you are told wherever you go, okay, you are so and so, and that produces an impact.
Yes.
All that is stuff, right? Especially myself, I grew up in an island. Okay, my father was kind of a guy, and I was never Caesar. I was always the son of so and so, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So this is inoffensive, right? The way I eat, right? Is I hold the knife with his hand and the fork with another one, and blah blah blah, right? And if I have the food I eat, right? If I have a chance, right, then I go for it. Otherwise, I don't know, bread and butter. I don't care. So it's the identity with this thing is what goes away. Is the image
Gotcha.
of you, is the wrong image of ourselves based in identity with all that, right?
Right.
It's interesting you say that because that came up. We were at the airport in the duty free section, and I didn't really grow up with labels and things like that. I'm very plain. And the people that I hang out with are not into labels, like Terry's not into that sort of thing. And I was at the airport with my colleagues, and they're like, "Oh, I love this brand of perfume." And it was like $600 for the perfume. And then the other lady's like, "Oh, but I love this perfume." And her perfume was $300. And in my bag, I'm like, I have rosemary and peppermint oil that I just put on my wrist
Well,
to smell.
I should say that I only do that with jeans. The rest, I go to this shop. There are some nice shops here that they have
Yeah.
like a nice looking stuff, but they are like fairly cheap, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
but
But
before
it was,
I'll have to wear chemise Lacoste or polo or
oh yeah,
shoes wear Sebagos, or you know what I mean, all that stuff like
I
it's
do.
some kind of a status or not whatever.
Yes. But that's what I realized, like how identified they were, because the one lady, she loves Louis Vuitton, and the other lady loves like Gucci or whatever. And I'm
See,
like, oh,
if
whatever looks good at the shop, I'll just buy
if
it.
by destiny, okay, you are wealthy, right?
Yes. Yes.
So why should you live in a hut, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
And
But it was just really
you,
fascinating to
you may
watch.
you may go for something because it is good quality. Everybody appreciates good
Yeah,
quality. Even
definitely.
a bird will choose the best materials in nature to build
Yes.
the nest, right? Even a gorilla will choose the nice leaves, right, to make a bed and
Yes.
rest comfortably, right? A monkey will not eat an unripe banana, right?
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
So there is nothing wrong. If you can afford it, then by all means. Otherwise,
Oh,
then
definitely.
whatever, right?
But I found it interesting because I thought, because she said something and I looked at her, I go, wow, that would be so cool to say out of my mouth one day. Because she said something about like spending, if you're going to spend 300, you might as well spend 900. And me and my other colleague looked and we laughed and we're like, wow, that's like such a, like it just came so easy for her. But it was like the identity with the label. And I was thinking, imagine like your name, Caesar, is on all these products. And it's like, oh, I gotta have a Caesar. Like if I don't have a Caesar, like I just,
Yeah, it
I
happens.
just,
It happens in the spiritual world too. The ego by association, especially with gurus, right?
that's true.
I am wearing that spiritual brand. See, I am come from Ramana Maharshi lineage and or whatever, right?
That's very true. Because people have done that before I knew who, because I don't really know a lot of
Even
names. I
even
just,
even if you wear only a loincloth, right?
but it's your loincloth.
But still you have ego, right? Identity with the body. See,
Yeah.
that's that's a different kind of branding.
Yeah. Well, that's all. I mean, now that you say it, I had a friend, she said she would go to India to her, what's his name? Ram Das?
Whatever, yeah.
Is that his name? But I don't know anyone. Like I just like reading the old books, like the Upanishads and the, Advaita Vedanta and those sort of things. And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to my guru." And I'm like, "Oh, what? Wow, I don't know who that is." And I started researching it. And then he was like all over the TV. And then I started meeting people who he was like their spiritual teacher as well. But it's like he had his own brand, and all these people do, even in the spiritual world, have their own brand. So you buy that brand as well.
The result
So
of
there's no difference.
the result of a spiritual ego that you become Mr. Nobody. If you are nobody and you are nothing, so there is nothing to defend, nothing to protect, nothing to say, right? Even Ramana said so. So if you want to realize the self, you have to become nobody. You have to become nothing. Right? Jiddu Krishnamurti, say, freedom comes when you are nothing. Right? Nothing means no identity. At the most, you use it again for the practicality of daily life. Nice to meet you, I'm Cesar.
But you're not your name.
Yes, and yes, I am from Venezuela. Hey, come here. Then, mommy's not. No, mommy not taking. Yeah. Give me 1 second.
That's okay.
Maybe he's hungry, or my son has the door closed, so he wants to be with him. Hold on a second. See? Sorry.
That's okay. That lost.
Yeah, he was hungry.
Ah.
So, where were we?
Non I guess, non-grasping to identity.
Yes, identity. It's all about identity. That's all.
Hmm.
Self-image. So that self is an image. Image means imagine, the imaginary. See, it's a mental construct.
We actually all use these words in our daily lives, but not really acknowledging what the interesting meanings behind, like my self-image is, or my self-imagination is. Yeah, I actually haven't thought about that in that way.
It's interesting because some time ago, like when I was in my 20s, if someone, because my parents are Italian, they were born in Italy, there was some kind of identification with that. Like if there was some kind of discrimination or something like that, I would feel it. I would feel some kind of a trigger, even though I didn't grow up there or anything. I was born in Australia, but it's almost like I took it on from my parents or something, that kind of conditioning, just by growing up with them. And it took it took so many years before that dissipated. I wasn't even thinking about it, but there'd still be something there. Like if something was mentioned, and then bit by bit it went away. I mean, there still might be some little trigger there, but compared to 20 years ago, it's very little, if there at all.
It's weak. Either
Yeah.
weak or it's not at all. But this is
Mm.
one of the images of the ego.
Mm. It's funny because it was very, very much unconscious, though. It's not like I think about being Italian every day or anything. It's just something that would just appear if someone said something discriminatory. It just
Sorry.
that almost sounds like it's here at our house.
I thought, I'm like, when did you get a cat?
Yeah, definitely
That's
it's not,
very
it's
cute.
not hunger. Now my son went to the toilet, so another
Is
one
he very
another one
clingy to you
another
guys?
one disappeared. No, he
So there can be
What's that?
so there can be a lot of unconscious identification.
Oh yeah. Woo. And life will say, look, 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 look.
Mm.
Mirrors, see everywhere, mirrors everywhere.
Mm. Even though, like, I even tried to, like, talk myself out of being identified with it. Like, no, I'm not Italian, and why is this triggering me? I was never born there, blah, blah, blah. But even just the intellectual thought patterns around that, trying to unidentify with it wouldn't work. It was almost as if something had to be played out
Yeah,
for
but
the triggering.
that amount to a non-identity identity.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, I have no identity. That itself is an identity. A non-identified ego.
Mm. But what I'm saying is, I mean, it didn't even work. It wouldn't work. It was, I don't know, it was just something that it seemed like it needed to be played out like that.
All that has to
The
come.
triggering.
All that,
Yeah.
all that will be. All these triggers will be there. Push all the
Mm.
buttons, right?
Yeah.
Family, co-workers, employees, bosses, I don't know, politicians, the economy, everything. It's fantastic.
That is true, because if it's not there, then it went and touched whatever that is.
Yeah, all these will be punches in the liver of the ego, see, until it dies. See. Toof, toof, toof.
A wild image. But do you think too, like what Terry's saying, it's like our ancestry, because you were talking about your last names or your surnames, like you're Caesar, but you have this and you have this side. So it's almost like that identity too, because I have that, like my family's from Ireland, so I have that identity. I was born in America, but my family were born in Ireland. So we identify as that because that's how we grew up, you know, having those traditions. So it's like, oh, you have an affinity for where your family comes from, even though you're not your family, but you have that lineage associated with your family.
All these drops. I mean, you love your parents and your family and all that, but all that becomes meaningless.
Yeah. Well, isn't it in the shaman tradition, like I can't remember what I read, but it was like when you turn 13, like you no longer see your parents as your parents because then nature becomes your parents or something like that.
That's another identity, identity with nature.
Right.
So
All I
the fact that somebody is a shaman,
What's that?
shamans doesn't necessarily means egoless. It might, who knows, but I am a shaman, that's an identity, see? And the nature and the sun and the trees and the mushrooms and the ayahuasca and the Don Juan and Don Pedro, peyote, whatever, right? And the trips and the visions and the healing and the this and the that, right? So this is very tricky. This is why we have to be so alert and yet relaxed. See? Because you can be taken away again, see, by the ego without even noticing it, right? Like easily. The ego can take any form. There is nothing that the ego or the mind cannot do or create. There is nothing impossible for the mind. It's capable to cover its own reality. Mm. And this is why, if this is not the priority, the main thing, it doesn't work. I mean, you may go 50-50 at the beginning, but it has to increase, right? Otherwise, believe me, you're going to be taken down without even knowing it. And that is why it's so important to have a guide.
Right.
I mean, you can get rid of the ego by yourself, but your intellect has to be very sharp. The mind has to be quite pure, and the degree of intuition should be quite high. Otherwise,
I think there's a
hmm?
lot of honesty involved.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is why the seekers are called the sincere seekers, see, or mature seekers, right? even we shouldn't be trapped under the spell of the thought-free state, right?
Right.
Because then we go and start contemplating the thoughtless state, right? Kind of a space, we are spaced out and all that. The mind has to be still but awake, right? Not focused onto anything, right? Onto itself. Otherwise, it's going to get enchanted by its own thoughtless state. See?
Right.
It's contemplating on the on no thoughts, right? And you can stay in that state for years.
Mm.
You can go into Nirvikalpa Samadhi for 3,000 years. When you come back, see, the tendencies still are intact. You're in the same spot, right?
Mm.
The world may have changed around you, right? But you are
Yeah.
still the same. So even if you are in the thoughts free state, right? Who is experiencing it, right? So the attention is on the I, right? Not to in any state.
Right.
Because it's very spaced out, then how can you function in this way? It's like it's not different than to be asleep. Right?
Mm.
So how can you function like that? This is why the inquiry doesn't interfere with daily activities, right? Many people go into this kind of a trance, right? Or pseudo trance.
Mm. Sure.
Ramana used to say, if you find yourself in that state, just revive consciousness, right?
Mm.
See who is experiencing even that, who is even free from thoughts, right?
Mm.
Because it still is me, and he will reinforce the me, right?
Mm. Sure.
And one can even confuse the thoughtless state with one's natural state, which is beyond the thoughtless state. Consciousness is beyond thoughts and no thoughts, right? In deep sleep,
Right.
no world, no body, no mind, no thought, because all that collectively is thought, right? This is
Right.
a gross aspect of the mind, which is thought also. When you read this text or hear all these talks, even when what really covers the mind is a subtle aspect, right? So when you hear no body identity, the word body refers to the totality of the illusion, see? The totality of phenomenon in the awakened state, which is world, body, thoughts, right?
Right.
When you listen to this subject or you read, they speak about the body and the five sheets, right?
Mm. The koshas.
The koshas and all this stuff. This is why they divided into three, but it's one body, right? It's one thing. The illusion is one also, okay? And it is also indivisible. So the apparent divisions are for the sake of explanation, right? The gross body, right? The subtle body and the causal body. The word body is there, but they are not three. All that collectively is one thing, the mind, the Maya, the illusion, or whatever. Imagination, imagining power of the self has been named by in different ways, right?
Mm.
So in reality, the word body in this context is not only this, the totality of the illusion.
Thank you.
Mm. This is why when they say paying attention from the object to the subject, object means the gross and subtle.
Right.
Okay, anything else, guys?
All good. Thank you so
That's
much.
good. Thanks, Cesar.
All good.
Have
So,
fun with the cat.
yeah, just bedtime. Okay,
Is that
then.
why your son wanted to go to Russia for a holiday because Nastia
Yeah,
was going?
yeah, somehow, yes, I want to go to Russia. Mm. Let's see
Mm.
what life brings.
All the best.
Thanks. Okay, then see you tomorrow, okay?
See you then.
See.
Nice to see you guys. Hasta mañana entonces, ¿ok? Mm. Where is Susie? Ah, there she is.